Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, best record in the NBA, 60 plus wins and counting, already a franchise best record, arguably the best two guard in the game, looking for his first title. The 25-year-old continues to get better. For the majority of the season, was not even mentioned in the MVP conversation until CP3's hand injury, a sizable standings lead. Book's brilliance couldn't be ignored any longer, mostly under the radar. Historically, looking at the best players on 60 plus win teams with the best records, the Steph Currys of the world, the LeBron Jameses with Cleveland twice and Miami in 2013, easily the best record in the game. And the second place MVP winners weren't even close, but because Booker's numbers and talents not on the same level as Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis, sparks a bit of outrage on how to define an MVP. His son's way better success than any of the three heavy candidates, double-digit games above any team in the West. With that said, let's take a look at every time the best player on the best regular season team earning 60 plus wins did not win an MVP award, and how close were they to actually winning it. Starting with Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain, 1972 Lakers, both in the twilight of their careers, pretty much past their primes. The 33-year-old West averaged a staggering 26 points, 4 rebounds, nearly 10 assists on a 69-win team, the most successful season up to that point, a 33-game win streak, a record that still holds. West arguably the best player starting in 1969 and 70, but a little older. Chamberlain wasn't as great as 25-year-old sensation Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the Milwaukee Bucks. Jabbar's Bucks the second best record, 63 wins. His squad ended LA's record win streak on January 9th, absolutely dominating. While the Lakers started 39-3, Milwaukee 35-8, West and Wilt actually split the first place votes. The Big Dipper averaged 15-19 with 4 assists, 65% shooting. After multiple heartbreaks and letdowns, 0-8 in the NBA Finals for West, with Elgin Baylor retiring after 9 games into the season, age 37, and the Lakers championship windows closing, with rookie head coach Bill Sharman's innovative offensive style took charge. The players of West, Chamberlain, Gail Goodrich, Jim McMillan, and Happy Hairston, Pat Riley, Goodrich and West established the best backcourt. McMillan was Elgin's replacement, Hairston in the front court alongside Chamberlain, the primary focus on D, rebounding machine and shot blocking. Starting fast breaks took a page out of Bill Russell's book. The still held MVP Jabbar to averaging under 34 points, 46% shooting in the 6-game playoff series, after Kareem shot over 57% in the regular season. In the final game, Chamberlain, a 20-point, 24-rebound closeout versus the Knicks, unofficially registered at least 9 blocks because Jabbar was undoubtedly the best player in the league. After winning the 71 title, Kareem was more deserving of the MVP award. But if the Bucks were to just win 55 games and 14 full games behind the Lakers, I could see one of the Lakers in West or Chamberlain winning it. They were nearly 1A and 1B talent-wise at that point. Dave Cowens, 1975. The 6'9" center won the award controversially over Jabbar in 73. His team won a league best 68 games, but 2 seasons later, tied for the best record, 60 wins. Cowens averaged 20 points, nearly 15 boards, while Elvin Hayes of the Bullets also tied for the #1 best record, 60 wins, 23-12. Both finished second and third place, behind 49 wins Bob McAdoo and the Buffalo Braves, who averaged an insane 34.5 points, 14 boards on 51% shooting, 2 blocks. No arguing stats. Cowens and Hayes loaded teams filled with stars like Unseld and Havlicek. Matter of fact, one can make the argument for the C's being a super team with 4 All-Stars, including Paul Silas and JoJo White, absolutely loaded. Washington's Phil Chenier, the third star on the team, while McAdoo and Rick Barry, the lone All-Stars on their teams. The MVP was realistically a 4-man race. Jabbar came in 5th, did not qualify for the playoffs. Rick Barry's 48-win Warriors provided one of the biggest carry jobs to the title, with second best player rookie Jamal Wilkes. Superstar Barry averaged over 30 points a game, but the voters were made up of players. Barry was one of the least popular players around the league because of his brashy attitude, was not liked. Players despised him, while McAdoo very well liked. Cowens didn't even make first team, and Barry did because the media voted for that, and yet Cowens finished ahead of Barry for MVP. If the media voted for MVP, Rick Barry would have won it in 75 over McAdoo, while Hayes and Cowens would have likely finished 3rd and 4th. 1980, rookie Larry Bird, arguably the most impactful first-year player all time, the great white hope, the late 70s, a dark time for the franchise, the greatest single-season turnaround at the time, drafted in 78 as an eligible junior with the 6th pick, the unknown prodigy, became well-known after leading Indiana State to the title game. Dark times for the Celtics after Havlicek's retirement, Bird even disrespected by Sidney Wicks and Curtis Rowe, the height of Boston's struggles, the league begging for a game changer to save its image, perceived by fans, a group of selfish guys who did a lot of drugs. Upon arriving to the Celtics, Bird even laughed at by former players. Many didn't believe a blue-collar, unathletic white boy from the hick of French Lick could possibly become the NBA's best player. First year, before the team had McHale and Parrish, Boston went from a 29-win team, identical rosters. Before the addition of Bird, fans ripped Red Auerbach for making them wait a full year. After just a few games, Bird proved to be one of the best players in the league already, resulting in the record best 61 wins, even better than Jabbar and Magic's Lakers, better record than Dr. J's Sixers. Bird's numbers of over 21 and 10, 4.5 dimes and nearly 2 steals, died for every loose ball, easily Rookie of the Year, only 4th for MVP voting because he was still new. Jabbar the comfortable choice, Dr. J in his prime came in 2nd place, and George Gervin's 500 Spurs also finished ahead of Bird because of winning the scoring title. But if Larry wasn't a rookie, would have gotten more first place votes. His impact as a first-year player, as great as anybody's, led to more ball movement, a 32-win improvement. Many rookies alone couldn't win 32 games their first full season. Boston already won as many regular season games as the previous 2 years combined without Bird. The eventual Eastern Conference champion Sixers eliminated them in 5 in the conference finals, but the beginning of a dynasty. Bird led Boston to the title the following year, an absolute winner, leading the franchise to 60+ wins, 6 of his first 7 seasons, greatness personified. Magic Johnson 1988, who finished 3rd place on a loaded Showtime squad, best record 62 wins, the regaining MVP. While Bird led Boston to 57 wins with McHale missing 18 games, many key players from that 86 Celtic title team was gone, but an anomaly season for 24-year-old Michael Jordan, who filled up the stat sheet in every way imaginable, one of the best individual years by any single player, leading scorer at 35 a game, won DPOY, over 3 steals, a block and a half, shooting over 53% as a guard. Chicago won 50 games, earned the 3rd seed, while Magic had Kareem and Worthy as all-stars, Brian Scott averaged over 21, Danny Ainge and McHale alongside Bird all-stars for Boston. Bulls just Jordan, while 2nd leading scorer Sam Vincent averaged 13 a game. Rookie Grant and Pippen weren't anything yet off the bench, even without Jordan's incredible season. Magic would have likely finished behind Bird since Larry averaged the career best nearly 30 a game, over 9 and 6 on 53, 41, 92 shooting splits. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars 1989, a league best 63 wins, 6 better than the Lakers and Cavs, but shockingly no legit MVP candidates. Detroit was the most complete team, no individual stood out, despite Thomas being the lone all-star at 27 years old. Still in his prime, sacrificed his numbers for the betterment of the team. 1 point apiece from Dumars and Isaiah, an absolute travesty from the voting process. The guys to finish above: Terry Cummings, Larry Nance, Chris Mullin, and aging Moses, Mark Eaton, Robert Parrish, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, and Tom Chambers. None of them should have been ahead of Isaiah in the MVP race. Of course, Magic, Jordan, Malone, Ewing, and Hakeem had the numbers and stats. Detroit traded for Mark Aguirre, had Vinnie Johnson off the bench, Lambeer the starting 5, and energetic Rodman, the big physical Rick Mahorn and John Sally, combined with the brilliant head coach of Chuck Daly. The only other exception I can think of, Thomas and the Bad Boys were hated so much due to their physical style of play and trash talk, the comments he made about Bird. Isaiah simply wasn't put in the same conversation as the Magics, Larrys, Michaels, and Hakeems of the world since I was born in the 90s. If anybody watching the NBA in the 80s, feel free to give an explanation on my comment section why an Isaiah Thomas-led team with 63 wins wasn't even remotely considered as a fair MVP candidate. Why wasn't he in the top 10? I'd like to get your thoughts. 1991 Clyde Drexler 63-win Blazers. Of course, Jordan's 61-win Bulls earned the award. No debate given MJ's average 10 full points ahead of Drexler. 7 total Blazers averaged double figures in Terry Porter, Kevin Duckworth, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Cliff Robinson and Danny Ainge, but after falling in the finals to the Bad Boys, many expected them to come out the West, fell to Magic's Lakers in conference finals 6 games. Many believed the 91 Portland team would have challenged the Bulls better than 92. The year 1994, everybody thinks about Hakeem and the Rockets, but the Seattle Sonics had a league best 63 wins, became the first seed to get bounced in round 1, a team with first-year All-Star Gary Payton, age 25, and 24-year-old Sean Kemp, one of the most exciting duels. New addition Deathless Shrimp, alongside role players Ricky Pierce, Kendall Gill, and Sam Perkins. Payton and Kemp considered 1A and 1B, very similar to Paul and Booker. Although GP wasn't on the same level as Hakeem and Robinson, while Prime Pippen carried the huge success without Jordan, and Shaq and Ewing were the better players as well, Hakeem's supporting cast was nowhere near as good as Payton's Sonics. Dream fully deserved MVP. 1997, Michael Jordan, don't even get me started, an absolute travesty on all levels. The best player on a 69-win teams did not win MVP, the biggest robbery of all robberies, the definition of true voter fatigue because Malone hasn't won an MVP and still played at a super high level. The narrative went to him, but the finals proved who was truly the best player, and it wasn't even close. 2002, Chris Webber, franchise best 61 wins, the Kings arguably a top 5 team all time to never win the title. Prime Webber averaged 24.5 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, nearly 2 steals and a block and a half, but limited to 54 games. The second best records were 58 wins San Antonio and Los Angeles, having sharpshooter Stojakovic, all defensive team Doug Christie, solid point guard Mike Bibby, and phenomenal all-around center Vlade Divac, young Turkoglu and Bobby Jackson off the bench. A combination of playmaking, ball movement, shooting, defense, can play big or small. Webber's team actually went 19-9 without him, so no case of him winning the MVP, while Duncan and Kidd single-handedly carried their teams all season. 2004 Indiana Pacers, franchise best 61 wins, Jermaine O'Neal an absolute beast, 13 more wins than the previous year. The improvements of prime Ron Artest, 25-year-old J.O. averaged 20 and 10, over 2.5 blocks, but Garnett clearly the best player that regular season. In a more loaded West, led Minnesota to 58 wins, while Duncan second place, San Antonio 57 wins, first season without the Admiral. J.O. talent-wise not as good as those two, being the best player on the best regular season team, one of the most forgotten great players in the mid-2000s. Chauncey Billups 2006, the best record in the league, franchise best 64 wins, Mr. Big Shot finished 5th behind superstars Nash, LeBron, Nowitzki, and Kobe, even had 15 first place votes, more than third place Nowitzki. The majority first place went to Nash, but the next 4 candidates all a toss-up with different mixed opinions. Nash without Stoudemire led Phoenix to 54 wins, LeBron 50 wins, Nowitzki 60, Kobe's poor supporting cast 45 wins. Billups ended up on second team behind Nash and Kobe in the guard spot. 2008, Kevin Garnett, from 24 wins without him to 66, the defensive anchor changed the identity and culture of the team overnight, easily won DPOY, but given having Pierce and Allen, Kobe only had Gasol for 1/3 of the season. CP3's Hornets were of the breakout stories. Garnett's number dropped to averaging 19-9 on a great team, but given Kobe and CP having the first and second seat in the better conference, both had a stronger case than Garnett. I'm skipping over 2012 66-game season. Both San Antonio and Chicago finished 50 and 16 overall. Both were likely to win 60 plus. Tony Parker finished 5th in the race on the balanced Spurs team, while Derrick Rose missed 27 games. 2014, best record San Antonio, 62 wins, one of the most complete teams, ball movement at its highest levels, no clear-cut best player with 37-year-old Duncan, 31-year-old Parker, a third-year Kawhi Leonard, off the bench Ginobili, Durant leading OKC to 59 wins. Without Westbrook for almost half the season, why he 100% deserved the award. While San Antonio destroyed Miami in the finals, Leonard won finals MVP, 4 other Spurs could have easily won that award. 2017, Golden State Warriors, best record 67 wins. The addition of Durant pretty much disqualified any player from winning the award on Golden State, 4 All-Stars. While Westbrook's triple-double historic season and Harden's offensive prowess, Kawhi's 61 win Spurs, the best two-way player in the game. The fact that Isaiah Thomas finished above Curry, staggering. Golden State cruised past everybody, an all-time team. While 2021, Gobert finished 10th place on a 52-20 Jazz team, had the best record, a weird season with guys missing plenty of games, while a bunch of Bill Russell Celtics teams earned the best record because it wasn't a full 82-game season yet. His team didn't exactly win 60, went 59-16 in 1960, 59-21 in 64. 1976 Golden State 59 wins, led by Rick Barry, finished 4th because his stats dipped, while Tim Duncan in 01, best record 58 wins, second behind Allen Iverson in the race. Historically, if you're not considered a top 5 player in the game and have other stars on the best regular season team, you're probably not going to win MVP. The narrative this season for Embiid not having Simmons and dominating even before Harden came, Giannis being the best two-way player in the game, and Jokic missing his second and third best player being most valuable, while CP3 in MVP discussions before the hand injury, the 2022 Phoenix Suns have more important things to look forward to come playoff time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.